everybody, I'm Rook. Let's learn Overtake Race Manager. Yeah. The goal in this game is to become the best racing corporation in the world in a year. You can do that by scoring victory points. And you get victory points from racing. You can be famous, build out your headquarters. But ultimately, winning races will give you a good chance to gain that prestigious title. There are 5 rounds in this game. Each round has multiple phases during the management segment and ends with a scoring round representing a race. Each player gets their own player board, which has a corporate office side to build out your headquarters and a garage side to build your cars and hire drivers to compete in the races. Let's set it up. So first thing, we can put out the tracks. There's one track that goes in each spot, and the last spot, the distance block, has 3 more tracks to go on the bottom. Next, you can put out the fan criterias. There's a whole bunch of them, but you just select 5 and put 1 on the bottom as indicated and flip them over. Note that these are the end of the round objectives, which will determine who gets to be the new fan favorite. Also, the first player of the round. You can also put the round tracker token over here. In spring 1, put the phase token over here. In the headliner over here, which is like the news agency, select 3 different series highlights and flip them over. Note that these are end of the game objectives to score you extra points if you are the leader in each of these categories. Place the 10 car tokens in the 0 box of the scoreboard and select the overlay that indicated by the number of players. If you're playing with 2 players, put this one on top of it. Now on the fame track, go ahead and put a fame token on the 0 box per player. Draw tiles according to the numbers indicated here. This is the box where executives go. We'll put 2 executives here. Next, we have drivers that are put in this box. Note, in a 2-player game, we put 5. And next is the cars. We need 3 parts in each of these. Great. And now sponsors. If we look at the sponsors, we have 5 sponsors. At least one of them has to have a 2, as indicated by this 2 fame number, and one of them has to be a 5. Alright, so we have a 5, 8, 12, and 18 fame sponsors. No, we didn't get any 2 fame sponsors, so the rule is the highest sponsor gets thrown out. In case of a tie, the person who has a fan favorite marker chooses which sponsor to throw out. So this 18 gets thrown out, and we gotta find a 2. Great, now we placed the 2 sponsor, so that satisfies the requirement, and we discard the 18 sponsor. In this training box, trainings that are in the light gray spaces are placed face up, and the dark gray spaces are placed face down. The last thing to finish up the board is to place restricted tokens based on the number of players. Excellent. Let's take a look at the player board. The only thing to do is put in these cubes in the leftmost spots of each track. Oh, there's one more thing to do with the race tracks. So note, you have to put a weather token according to the weather of the race. So we can see the first race in spring will be cloudy. The second race in spring will also be cloudy. And by the time we get to the 3rd race, it'll be summer. So we gotta put a sun token over there. Looking great. Let's go back to the overlay. We have to randomly determine one person to be the first player, give them the fan favorite token, and $1 million. The second player, in this case, will have $1.2 million. Every $100,000 is an increment of 1 in this game. Each player then gets 3 executives and 2 starter drivers. You may only select 1 for each. The executive you're choosing goes into the corporate office, and the driver of your choosing goes into a car or the reserve. It doesn't matter at this point. Also give each player 3 agents of their color. And based on your executive, if they have a bonus in the corner, award those accordingly. Like this one gives 2 fame. This executive gives points at the end of the game, and this one gives you money immediately. And now we're ready to play. Alright, we're going to the phases. We first start with the headliner phase, but in the introductory game we'll skip it. Next we move to the agent phase. The agents phase is the worker placement part of the game, where you will take one of your agents and place it on the tile of your choosing. By taking a car part, I'll move up that part according to this car that many spaces. So if I take this brakes 2 for car 2, I'll place a worker there. Like this. And now my car 2 will move up 2 incremental spaces. And that's my action. Placing an agent on a driver rewards fame immediately. And that is noted on the fame track. To hire a new executive, you'll need to pay funds first. You may choose where that executive goes by paying the allotted funds. This spot costs 1.5 million. This spot costs 600,000. Note that hiring a driver, the driver is placed into your garage, which can go either into a car or in the reserve. Adjust the fame accordingly, and if you have any executives that have the same region, which is orange for this one, you will receive $200,000. And if you match a flag, like those two, you get an extra $100,000. Any executive matches of the same color that exceed 1 only give $100,000. Placing an agent into the sponsor spot is not immediately rewarded. You'll have to place them in one of these boxes, so you'll be eligible to obtain a sponsor in the sponsor phase. When taking the training action, pay the associated fee and apply the token as well as a fatigue to one of your drivers in your employ. This cannot be saved for the future. You must place it on a driver you currently have. No driver could have the same skill twice. So if you drew an unlucky one, like in this situation, you would just forfeit your action and your money. But you wouldn't have to put down the fatigue. A driver can have up to 3 skills. If you obtain a 4th skill, the latest skill will replace the rightmost skill. Just like this. You still have to pay your $1 million. Actions proceed clockwise until all agents are completed. After all players placed all their agents, we proceed on to the next phase, the driver phase. Here is where you'll have to assign your drivers to cars or the resort or fire them. We can see here that we have drivers in the cars. In the introductory game, you don't need a driver in the reserve. So either place them in a car or in the resort. If they're in a car, they will race this race. If they're in the resort, they will not be able to race. They will give you $200,000, and any fatigue tokens on a driver will be removed. Note, firing drivers means that their fame is lost, and that is adjusted on the fame track. In the sponsor phase, players will select a sponsor of their choosing, according to the initiative. The first spot selects first, and any spots that have a gray star will boost their current fame value. The total fame of this team is 6. 2 from the executive, 4 from the driver. That means, taking my sponsor spot, I am eligible for any sponsor that has 6 or less fame. If I took a later spot, giving me +2, I would be eligible for the 8-star sponsor. The last spot, which is covered in a 2-player game, gives a permanent fame boost. Anytime you receive a permanent fame boost, assign that fame to a driver. Now is the news report. In this phase, we will resolve cards, but for the introductory game, you simply select who becomes the new fan favorite. It is according to the round. You can see here, whoever player has the most fame will become the new fan favorite and the first player. After all that's done, it's time to race. After placing the track tile, arrange the weather conditions according to the current weather, with the cloud being the highest, and place the others according to the reference manual. For cloudy races, it looks like this. Go ahead and place your cars onto the track according to their performance values. You can see in this race, engines counts once and brakes counts twice. So let's take a look. Car 1 has an engine value of 3 and a brakes value of 2. So 3 plus 2 plus 2 is 7. Car 1 will start in spot 7. Car 2 has 3 plus 4 plus 4. So this one will start on spot 11. Do this for all players, and for any Automa players, draw a card and place their cards accordingly. Any cars that do not have drivers will not be placed into the race. In the strategy phase of the race, you will select how much to push your drivers. If you push your drivers too hard, they could crash. But if you don't push them hard enough, your opponents might pass you. Once everyone has selected their strategy for their cars, go ahead and flip over each strategy bid and roll 4 dice. Place the dice according to their numbers, and then evaluate each player's outcome based on the results. Any success means the car will move up according to the highest car part. Any failure will move back the car according to the numbers. If there are 3 failures, the car is out of the race. It crashed, or ran out of gas, or both. Looking at this example, there's a 1 bid here, but this driver only has this rain A value for adaptability. There is no outcomes that match adaptability, so this one will suffer -3. However, this driver who bid 2 also has the same traits but has an I value, and I hits on 12, so that means they will also move back by 3, but they will move up by the highest car part, which is 4, resulting in a net positive of 1. The Automa players use the same concept with skills. However, they have lucky numbers, meaning if the number came up, they will also count as a success. Note that lucky numbers do only count once. Doubles don't count for making them happen twice. And note, Automa only moves according to the season value, 2, 3, or 4, per success. After all cars are evaluated, the race is over. Move the cars according to their finishing position. In cases of a tie, whatever player bid higher will win the tie. If there's still a tie, then roll off between the tied players. In cases of Automa players tying with players, the Automa always loses. When comparing other Automa against each other, the higher value Automa will win. In the merit phase, the first player will be awarded a fame. Also, if they have any matches according to the current country, they'll be awarded special bonuses. Note that if the AI player wins, they receive 1 extra point instead. Next, we reward points. Places 1 through 6 will be awarded victory points. Places 1 through 3 will receive fatigue for being so popular and entertaining the media. Places 7 through 10 will be able to build up their parts for free, based on the tokens that remain that are left over. Note that the card does not have to match the corresponding region to be upgraded. If there's no options that you like or none available, you may opt to move up one part of your choice. Finally, we have the salary phase. At the end of every race, you have to pay your team. In this case, if I made 6th place or better, I'll be awarded $400,000. And that's one car eligible per sponsor. So if I had 2 cars like 5th and 6th place, I would only get this sponsor payout once. Add up your total amount of green values, subtract how much it costs from your salary, and either pay or receive the difference. In this example, assuming that I hit 6th place or better, I will receive $900,000 and my salary cost is $1 million. So my net income is minus $100,000. I'll have to pay $100,000 to the bank every round. I better do better. Anytime you don't have enough money to pay off your team, you will fall into debt and you'll have to take a red mark. Place a cube into the corresponding box, get money, and you'll lose points at the end of the game. The more times you do it, the more money you get, but the more points you lose, so watch out. You gotta manage your finances. And that's everything you need to know. The game will end when any car hits this number or all the races complete. Note in the last round, there are 2 races back to back. See how you did in the year. You will add up your 2 car values. If you have any executives with a region victory point marker, then you count the number of regions you have and award points accordingly. If you built up any boardroom spots that have victory points, you will get those ones as well. If you have the fan favorite token, you get a victory point for every $1 million worth of victory point. And the fame track also has victory points. And finally, the series highlights. First place receiving the highest amount of points. In cases of tie, take the highest numbers and split them round down. And that's how you play Overtake Race Manager. Wow, so exciting. Did you like it? You want to see some action? If so, write, "Hey Rook, you're awesome," in the comments. Or you can also visit the Board Game Geek site and write there. Until then, see you next time. Thanks for watching.